Hey everybody. Whoops, I think I've got lipstick on my teeth. Sorry about that. I just saw that in the mirror or in the screen. Let me try that again. Hey everybody, it's Kate Richburg and welcome to Free Tip Friday. You're gonna see me wear this outfit. You saw me wear this outfit on Wednesday, on my Wednesday broadcast. You're gonna see me wear this same outfit on my Great Bead Extravaganza broadcast that's coming up tomorrow, quote tomorrow, because all of this content is pre-recorded. Because this week I am off learning some new skills. So I am really excited to flex my metalsmithing muscle. So that's what I'm doing. So that's why this Free Tip Friday is pre-recorded. I'm going to be back next week with some live content for you, which is great. I love being with you live, and I'm sorry sometimes that I have to sneak a pre-recording in there, but today's going to be a lot of fun. First, I want to share with you the kits that dropped today for the Great Bead Extravaganza for tomorrow. So if you like them, snap them up because these kits always go quickly. I'm not going to make any more of these kits because these kits aren't, or these beads rather, aren't really available in this configuration. I'm using the African trade beads that I bought from one of our vendors a few months ago now. I don't know how many months ago. But the trade beads and the colors, they always change. So it's not really possible to replicate the kits exactly. But do stay tuned because I do have one more of this beach glass wrap that's going to launch post-show. It's going to launch in a couple of weeks after this. So stay tuned to your newsletter. So if you like these three colors, the fourth color that I have that's actually sitting just over there, over there, is also going to blow you out of the water. I think you're going to like it. But for now, we've got three, and I'm going to show you those. And then I wanted to talk a little bit about the leather choices that I made for this and do a quick comparison on the different leathers, the 0.5 all the way up to the 2 mm, because I'm really having a moment right now with this leather and macrame kind of a look. So we're going to get that into that in a second. But first of all, let me remind you, you saw it in your newsletter this morning, but this discount goes through today, Friday, all the way to Sunday, till the last day of the Great Bead Extravaganza on Sunday, July 24th at midnight. If you enter TGBE20 at checkout, it'll save you 20% off store-wide on Bead Shop, including the kits that we've just launched. And believe me, I love them. You're going to see them in just a second. I've hinted at them, and I'm going to show them again tonight on our preview. Speaking of our preview, kids, I'm going to be back with you tonight, and I actually will be live. We're doing that quick kind of Friday night preview for the Great Bead Extravaganza, and that preview night is tonight, 5 o'clock Pacific and 8 o'clock Eastern, and it'll be broadcasting just in the Great Bead Extravaganza group. I'm going to try and share it on the Bead Shop social, but to be honest, I really have no idea where I'm going to be when we're going live, so I'm going to do my best. But we all kind of come on, we kick it off, we say hello, and then content starts, all the show details start. You can get the schedule right over on the Great Bead Extravaganza page right there on Facebook. My segment is on Saturday, July 23rd. That banner that I just put up is covering it, so let me take that off. 11 a.m. Pacific I start, and 2 p.m. Eastern it starts. That, you guys, is pre-recorded content, so it's just going to start. I'm sorry I won't be there live to answer your questions, But as always, kids, if you do have questions, you can send them right over to info@beadshop.com and we'll get back to you. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's get into this Free Tip Friday and see what we've got. Last week we did our African bead live sale, and you guys dug it, and I'm so glad that you did. I really had so much fun. Um, just what I want to say, curating, though I know that's a word that's used a lot, but putting all of those together for you. But today's kits, we've got 3 of them that are coming your way. And I call this the Beach Glass Wrap. And it comes in a blue tone, which is Beach Glass Morning, in the green tones, which is green Beach Glass Afternoon, and then kind of in this red and purple and pink tones, which is Beach Glass Evening. And what you get in each kit is, I'm going to dump it out here. You get some leather. You get enough leather. If your leather is one piece, it's about 20 feet of leather. If it's in multiple pieces, because that's a lot of leather to cut without knots, if it's in multiple pieces, you probably have a little more than that because you have long pieces of cord. But in the show tomorrow, watch the show. I'm going to show you how to add, if your leather cord breaks or whatever, I'm going to show you how to add cord to your piece. So it's super easy. So you don't have to work with like a long 5-foot piece of cord anyway, right? So you get that. You get a mix of recycled glass beads with nice big holes. You get some of those beautiful feather beads, and in this green, look at those green, it has kind of that dark blue tone. You get some of these West African lost wax cast brass beads, also from Ghana. And then you get a variety of glass beads plus 1 Ashanti saucer. And that Ashanti saucer I've used as the button on this. So you want to reserve, and I talk about this tomorrow when I actually show you how to make these pieces. But you can see I use one of those little bicones at the top, and that Ashanti saucer acts as the button. So you get everything you need in there. Additionally, you might want to pick up, if you don't have a beading surface, you might want to pick up a bead board like I have here with that velvet pad. You're going to want a pair of clampers like this. I also use some GS Hypo when I need to add cord, and you're going to need some kind of a thread snip. So that's really it. Pretty minimal tools and stuff. And again, these are all about 4 wraps. And I'll talk to you tomorrow during the broadcast about how to, figure out what length works for you. I'm not going to button that up, but how to find your right length, all of that stuff. So let me just wrap these up so they look kind of cool and ready to go. They also, I think, look great stacked as necklaces. And on last Wednesday's show, you saw me put all of these on as necklaces as well. So those are the 3. So pick up one, pick up all of them, and stay tuned because there's going to be a number 4 that's coming up for you. But the next thing that I want to talk about, besides these wonderful kits, is the basis of what I used, which was leather cord. Now, on beadshop.com, what we're doing now, we used to sell our cord in 4-yard bundles, right? Bundles of 4 yards. And that was good, right? They look cute. We bundled them up. They look nice. But it was also a little limiting. So when we made the move to our third-party fulfillment center, which, by the way, I hope you guys are liking and hoping that your orders are going smoothly. If you have any questions about that, just shoot us an email over at info@beadshop.com and we'll be happy to help you navigate anything. But that's the only thing that's changed about us, kids. That's the only thing. We're still the same old bead shop. It's just that we have another small company who is helping us fulfill your orders. So here are all of the leather cord sizes that we carry, and now we carry them by the yard. So here's the 0.5, here's the 1 millimeter, 1.5, and 2. Now in your kit, I chose a 1 millimeter because I thought, with this macrame and stuff, and I've been doing a lot of this macrame with leather lately, I really liked the way it looked. But I wanted to do some comparisons for you guys so you could see how they might look. And I also, in your kit, I've given you that Ashanti saucer, just a single one of them, to act as a button. But you can also use some other shapes of tribal and trade beads, or any type of bead, that you can use as a closure. You could use something like this little barrel, or you could also use like one of these round current beads. I'm going to start out and I'm just going to do some quick macrame on these so you can see what that might look like. So here I've got my bead through this 0.5 millimeter, okay? And I want to bring it around, and I'm going to get my little leash, right? And you've seen me do this before with the little loop of thread. I could tie a knot there, but I don't want to because I want my first knot to be macrame. So it's a little more difficult. Maybe I'll try and get it in there like that. Okay. And I'm going to put this down here, and I'm going to clamp this to the board, and I'm going to do a second clamp down here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I'm going to do a second clamp down there to kind of hold everything nice and tight. Can you see that? So now I've cut just a short piece because I'm not going to do very much of this here, but I want to center that button. Well, it's a button now, but that little barrel bead. And I'm just going to start with my macrame. I'm going to find the center, which looks like it's about there. And I'm going to do my first knot, make my loop towards the left. The right hand strand goes over that left cord, under the center cord, and up and through that loop. Now, once I've tightened that loop, or tightened that knot, I'm going to take this out and I'm going to slide everything up and rearrange it so it's nice and tight, and then tighten that down. There we go. That looks better. Now I'll put it back in its little loop here, and then we will continue moving forward. Now, this will give me kind of a thin macrame. Now, you can also do these comparisons. I think it's kind of fun to have these little samples here so that you can quickly compare what the different weights are, I guess I would say. Now that I've done a little bit, I'm going to clip that away and I'm just going to keep going. But how the result of the stitch looks with the different materials. So this is a 0.5 millimeter over a 0.5 millimeter. Okay. And it's nice. You can also check this out like with Chinese knotting cord. You could do this whole thing with Chinese knotting cord. The 0.5 millimeter CKC will look about the same, right? So here's that. Let me show you what this looks like. I think that looks pretty good. I like that. Now, let me move on. You can see, and you'll see tomorrow when I work with it. So I'm actually not going to do the 1 millimeter, but this is the 1 millimeter right here. 1 millimeter macrame over a 1 millimeter base. Okay, there's that one. Let's do a 1.5. Now, if I'm doing a wrap, let's say, and I could use like one of these nice round beads for it. Let me get my little, where's my string? Let's attach that up to the top, kind of tight. Pull it tight to the bottom. And I could tie a knot here, but I really want it to start with macrame. Okay, so I kind of have to just kind of jump in, tie the knot, and then tighten it like you just saw me do it. I'm going to cut another length. And since this is pre-recorded and you're asking me what colors these guys are, I think this is Distressed Violet that I'm using. And the first one I used, I think, was Distressed Brown, I think is what I used. This green here, this was a kit exclusive. It's the Distressed Dark Turquoise. But you could also use the distressed green that we carry. You can also come in, see how all of these cords are a little unruly? So I'm going to come in with my clamp and clamp those together, tie my first knot, and then like I did before, push that knot up so that it tightens just below this bead. Then put it back in. Whoops, wrong way. Put it back in, and then it should be sitting kind of where it needs to sit. And then you can leave this clamped. Let me tighten that up just a little. You can leave these two clamped just till you get a couple of knots in there. They'll help to hold it. Slide it down a little bit too, if you need to. And again, this is the 1.5 millimeter that I've got. And then you can unclamp it. I can go ahead and after a few, clip this away. I could add a little bit of GS Hypo there if I needed to. Clamp that down nice and tight. And then keep that show going. So the stitch becomes more and more defined as you are making your way up the leather ladder in size. So here's the 0.5, or the 1.5 rather. So there's that one. There's the 1 over the 1. And there's the 0.5. So let's finish this out with the 2, shall we? I've got some black in 2 millimeter. And you could also mix and have your base be one size and have your what you macrame with be another size. This one I'll come through again. These currants have pretty big holes. I could also use it this way though. Let me do it this way. Like I do on the bracelet, I just tie a little double knot, and this 2 millimeter is going to give me such a nice large double knot here. at the hole. See how it'll just sit there at the hole and I can trim it pretty close. There we go. Now I can start my macrame just below. This would also make a nice closure. So let's go ahead and put that on there with that clamp. Pull this down, clamp it on the other side, and let's go with some 2 mil. Now again, sorry this is black. It might be a little hard to see on screen, but I think it's the only 2 millimeter leather I had here with me. But I just come in, find my center. And of course your threads, your center cords could be different colors, right? This could be a light and a dark or vice versa. This time I'll start on the left. Doesn't matter if you start on the left or the right. Right hand cord over the left hand cord, under the center, up and out through the loop. And do a couple of these. Since the cord is bigger, it doesn't want to sit exactly where you're putting it. So do a few. I'm going to do maybe 3 or 4. And then I'm going to take this bead out of the loop and push it up so there's not a lot of space there. See that? Then I'll put that back in like that. Kind of tighten, clamp it up so it's tight. And then I can continue. And you can see, obviously, the larger and heavier the cord is, like I said before, the more kind of stitch definition you have, but also the bulkier or the larger the macrame piece that you have. But if you wanted this to be, to have a heavy kind of a base, but a thinner cord over the top, you could do a 2 millimeter here with a 1 millimeter over the top. It's a good way to kind of use up some of your leather scraps to give you some little samplers. So let's see what we've got. This is the 2. This is the 2 over 2 millimeter. This is the 1.5 over the 1.5. This right here is the 1 over the 1. And this is the 0.5 over the 0.5. Let me lay them out and get a little bit closer with the camera so you can see them. So you can take this kit idea that I've created, that when you grab one of these, you can grab the kit, or if you decide, I want to do a little bit of a deep dive into my own stash, you can kind of see the difference that the leather you choose, what difference that's going to make. I think that the 1 millimeter for the sizes of the beads and stuff that I used, I'm pretty happy with it, but I could also use a 1 millimeter over a 1.5 millimeter core if I felt like it, or I could even jump that up to a 2 millimeter core with a 1.5 millimeter knot over the top of it. So it really just depends what you like, what your aesthetic is, but it's kind of fun to have these little samples sitting around so you can make some comparison. And I will bet that you've got some leather scraps that will work just perfectly for that. So all of these kits are live on the site, and grab come one, come all. And I will be back with you a little later for the live Great Bead Extravaganza preview night on the Great Bead Extravaganza page on Facebook. And then don't forget, I will be live with you tomorrow, starting at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern time. And again, I'm sorry that that's going to be pre-recorded content just like this one is, but I will be back live with you next week. So don't forget, everybody, to use that Great Bead Extravaganza coupon. You should have seen it this morning in your newsletter. You can enter code TGBE20 for 20% off on beadshop.com. And please do not forget to follow us on our social. I'm looking for that card right here. There we go. At beadshop.com on Insta, on Facebook at the Bead Table. Like and subscribe and enable those notifications on beadshop.com for YouTube. And of course, you can shop all of the projects and products right over on our website at beadshop.com. Okay, everybody, thanks so much for joining me for this Free Tip Friday. I hope that little leather explanation kind of helped enhance what was shaken with these kits and helped you kind of give you a little insight about why I chose it for my design. I'll see you a little bit later. Have a great weekend all, and do enjoy all of that great content that's coming down this weekend for the Great Bead Extravaganza. We'll see you all soon. Thanks so much.